Hello, my name is Anton Boyko. I'm Microsoft Azure MVP, and today I want to talk with you about Azure PowerShell. So we will discuss how to install Azure PowerShell CMS and how to connect them to your Azure subscription. Also, I will talk a little bit about basic commands of Azure PowerShell CMS. I will show how we can create PowerShell scripts for managing Azure resources. Also, I will talk a little bit about where you can obtain help for Azure PowerShell servlets, and also I will show Azure PowerShell script gallery, because as you may know, you are not the only one who work with Azure using PowerShell, so a lot of scripts you can find on this PowerShell script gallery. You do not need to create all those scripts from scratch by yourself. And now let's go to see some demos. Okay, so this is my desktop, and before I will be able to start working with Windows Azure PowerShell, I need to download an appropriate PowerShell CMS. So let's go to Internet Explorer, azure.com. Here we need to go to Downloads, scroll down, and here inside Command Line Tools we have Windows PowerShell and Install. Run. Yes. And now I will launch my web platform installer, and as you may see, I am able to install my Windows Azure PowerShell with Microsoft Azure SDK stuff on this current machine. So hit install, accept terms, and now it will automatically download all stuff which I need for this particular machine with all dependencies. It can take some time, so let's wait a little bit. Okay, I'm done. I installed PowerShell and PowerShell with Azure SDK. To be honest, I already installed like a previous version of Azure PowerShell, so that's why I need to install only this update, this current time. But basically, if you will install this on a clean machine, you will have a kind of long list of dependencies, so you don't need to worry about this, it's okay. So let's finish, exit, and now on the start menu we can type PowerShell and we can see Microsoft Azure PowerShell here, and here's our kind of old and well-known PowerShell console with Azure PowerShell Servlet enabled. But to be honest, I will recommend you to use PowerShell IC because it's much more kind of rich user interface to work with your PowerShell, and it gives me much more better user experience. Okay, so here is my PowerShell IC, and as you can see here I have Azure module and I have all my installed Azure CMS here. But in case you are unable to see your Azure module here, you need to do an additional magic. You need to write a new item file, and you need to use this path: profile, all users current host, and so basically you need to create a profile file for all users on current host. Open this file with Notepad and add an import module clause in this file. So let's run this script, and here you need to add import module and following paths: C, program files, Microsoft SDKs, Azure, PowerShell, Service Management, Azure PSD1. Let's save this file, and in this case, every time you will run your PowerShell EAC and start a new session, PowerShell will automatically load this file, and your Azure module will be automatically loaded to your current session. So now we can close it, and now we are ready to create our first Azure PowerShell script. Okay, so here is my PowerShell IC, and I'm ready to start writing my first Azure script, but before this I need to add my Azure subscription to my current machine when I will work with PowerShell. So let's type get Azure subscription, and as you can see, for now I have no subscription attached to this machine, to this current user profile. To attach all subscriptions that are available for my account, I need to type add Azure account. Now I will see this small browser window. I will need to provide my live ID here. Continue. Now I provide a password. And now I need to wait before Microsoft will log into Azure Management Portal, create all required Azure Management certificates, download them to my current machine, and after this I will be able to work with all my Azure subscriptions which are available for Live AD account, which I provided during the previous steps. Okay, now I'm done. Let's clear this output window and type get Azure subscription again. So as you can see, I have a lot of Azure subscriptions for my Live AD account, but to obtain like a good experience working with PowerShell, I also need to first set Azure subscription, and for this demo I have subscription which I call training, and also I need to select this subscription as a current subscription and also as a default subscription. Now I need to wait a little bit, and after this I can type again get Azure subscription, but now I will provide subscription name training, and as you can see now my training subscription set to default subscription and current subscription. So for now I will start writing my PowerShell commands, and all these commands will be triggered against this training subscription. So let's create a new script and start writing our first PowerShell commands for Azure. For this demonstration, I want to create a script which will create like a new storage account, new virtual machine, put this virtual machine hard drive to this new storage account, and also create a new virtual network and put this virtual machine inside virtual network. And we will go through all these steps one by one. So the first thing we need to do, we need to call get Azure location. After we execute this command, we will see a list of available data centers which we can use, and a list of services which are available in each data center. So let's scroll a little bit up, and I want to find like my favorite data center, North Europe. So I need to copy this name, and I will create a new variable, location, and set it to North Europe. Let's use double quotes. After this, I need to create a new affinity group. I need this affinity group because I want all my services to put as much closer as possible, just to decrease network latency and all other stuff. So I will call new Azure affinity group. And for this command, I need to provide a name of my affinity group. Affinity group name, and also I need to provide a location. So it's capital L, and let's create affinity group name equal, I don't know, Linux demo affinity group F5. Okay, my affinity group is created, and now I can create a new storage account. Let's create a new file, and here I will call for new Azure storage account. I need to provide storage account name, okay, and also affinity group. I will create storage account name here, and I will copy affinity group name from previous page. Affinity group name and storage account name, let's say Linux demo storage, something like this. I hope this name is also available. So F5, and our storage account is created. The next very tricky thing we need to do, we need to create a new virtual network, and I will now show why it's so tricky. So let's create a variable vnet config path, and set this variable to my C drive, users JSDev is my current user, downloads vnet XML, and now I will call for get Azure vnet config, and I will say that I want to export this config to file vnet config path, and okay, I will hit F5. Okay, it's exported. So basically the virtual network configuration is an XML file, and for now we do not have any kind of PowerShell servlets for example, calling Azure API and said, okay, create a new virtual network for us. We need to firstly download this virtual network configuration file, then we need to adjust it. We need to manually create kind of new XML nodes which will describe our new virtual network, and after this we need to export this file back, import this file back to our Azure subscription. So let's open my downloads folder and let's open this file. So as you can see, this is my network configuration for my current subscription. And as you can see, for example, I have my Linux VNet, and also I have a virtual network called group 1 clusternet. So basically I need to create a new XML nodes using the same format and add these nodes to this XML file, and after this import this file back to Azure. So let's start doing it. First, I want to create a new variable XML_ns. I will copy it from here. Yes, because all my nodes should be in this XML namespace. Now I want to create XML doc from file VNet config path. Now I want to create sites node, which will be like XML doc, then I need to copy it from here, then network configuration, XML doc, network configuration, virtual network configuration, virtual network sites. Okay. So this is my pointer to sites node, and now I need to create a new XML node and append it like a last child for this sites node. So XML doc create element. I need to create virtual network site element. Okay, and now I need to set attribute. The first attribute is name, and I want to create another variable here, VNet name. Let's call it something like demo VNet. So this is the name of my virtual network, and also I need to set attribute called affinity group, and I will copy affinity group name from here. Yes, so it's kind of annoying process, but basically if you're familiar with Hyper-V virtual network configuration, you should do almost the same stuff here, because basically it's really kind of the same engine for working with Microsoft Cloud. And The other tricky point is that this name and this affinity group attributes are case sensitive. So if I will type name in this way, it will not work. So you also should be aware, and you also should follow this naming convention and look for like uppercase letter or lowercase letter, so because it will not work, as I said, if you miss it. Okay, so I create my virtual network site, and now I need to create an address space. Again, create element. And I will call it address space. Address space, append child. Inside address space, we need address prefix. Address prefix. Oh, I think I also should add it this way. Yeah. So inside address space, we will add address prefix, and inside address prefix, first child, inner text, I will need to add a value of this address prefix. So basically, let's use this one. /8. Okay, and now to my VNet, I will append child address space. Okay, cool. So for now we configured address space, but also we need to create at least one subnet. So subnet equal create element called subnets, and also we will use the same approach here. For subnet, we will append a new child called subnet, and for this subnet, we will set an attribute name, and here we have VNet name. Let's also have subnet name, and let's create like subnet 01, something like this. Subnet name. Okay, so I have this subnet, this name. Now I need to create an address prefix again. Subnet first child, append child address prefix here, and subnet first child, first child, inner text equal, I copy this one and call it subnet address prefix, and let's create this prefix. I have my subnet prefix here, and now vnet append child subnet, and sites append child vnet, and at the end xml.doc.save to this path. Hop. Okay, so now let's take a brief look on our script. So what do we have here? We call for get Azure VNet config and export our current configuration to file on a local system. After this, we create an XML document from this file. We obtain a pointer for virtual network sites node, and after this we create our virtual network configuration by providing name and affinity group. Inside virtual network configuration we create a virtual network address space, and also inside virtual network we create a subnets node and add a first subnet, and at the end we append this virtual network sites with our newly created virtual network configuration. We save this file on a local drive, and the last thing we need to do, we need to call set Azure VNet config configuration path, this one, and calling for this command we will upload our new virtual network configuration to Azure. So I think we are ready. So F5. Okay, now it's done, but we need to wait a little bit before Azure process the virtual network creation. And I just want to mention one thing. Yes, I want to reload this file. So if you will take a brief look again at this file, you will see that you have virtual network configuration node and inside virtual network sites. But if you have like a new Azure subscription and if you do not have any virtual networks, you will have a configuration files which will look like this. So you have only virtual network configuration node and so you will not have this virtual network sites. That's why you need to add kind of additional check before this line of code. So you need to check is virtual network sites node exists or not. If it's not exist, you need to create it first, and after this you will be able to use the same script. So basically just add this additional check in case you have like no virtual network in your subscription. Okay, so virtual network is creating. The virtual network is created, and now we are ready to create a new virtual machine. So the first thing we need to do, we need to call get Azure VM image. Yes, we need to call for get Azure VM image command, but it's kind of my favorite part. Let's clear this output and call for get Azure VM image. So as you can see, we have a really huge list of virtual machine images, and this list is not really user-friendly if you want to read it manually. So that's why we need to add some additional magic here, and we need to filter this list so we will be able to read it properly. So let's add where object, and let's say that I want to say that label like Ubuntu 14 long time support, and also I want to sort object by published date field in descending order. In this way I will have like the latest image on top, and also select object. I will take the first one image, and okay, so for now let's hit F5 and see what we will have here. So as you can see now, I have only like one image with this image name. Operation system is Linux, logical size is 30 gigabytes, and category is public, available in a lot of locations. Some labels, some description, and some other stuff also here. But to create a virtual machine, I need only image name, and let's call variable image equal to all this stuff. Okay, now I have an image name. The next thing I need to do, I need to create a URL for my HDD location, and I can create this URL in a quite simple way. So I will use HTTPS, so secure endpoint, then I need to add a storage account name. Storage account name here. Storage account name. Now I need to add blob core Windows net. So this is the URL for my storage account. Now I will add VHDs, so this is the name of container. It will be created automatically if I do not have this container. And let's create VM name. And let's use this VM name here. And let's say dash system. So I want to create my new VHD in this location. So when I will call for create virtual machine, I want for my virtual machine system drive located on this URL. Okay, cool. Let's create some new virtual machine configuration. I will call for new Azure VM config. I need to provide a name for my virtual machine. I will use this one. I need to provide an image name. I will use image name. Also, I need to provide instance size. instance size is small. Media location. Media location is a path to our HDD location. Okay, what also I need to add? I need to add host caching. I will use read and write. It's default host caching for any system hard disk drive in Azure. Also, I need to add Azure provisioning config. I will say that my virtual machine is Linux based and my Linux user name is Boyko and my password is this one. It's kind of my favorite password. Yeah, and also set Azure subnet to subnet name. I have my subnet name here. VM subnet name. Yes, okay, I'm done with my VM configuration, and let's have a brief look what I have here. So I created a new configuration for my virtual machine. I set name for virtual machine. I set image name, so basically which system image I will use for this virtual machine. Also, I set image size to small. I set a location of my system HDD to HDD location, and I said that I want to use host caching for read and write operation. Also, I added Azure provisioning configuration. I said that my virtual machine is Linux based and my Linux user name is this one and my password is this one. And also I said that I want this virtual machine to be included in this Azure subnet. Now I need to set Azure subscription name training and current storage account I need to set to storage account name. After this I need to call new Azure VM and I need to provide a service name, so basically it's cloud service name. I will use my VM name here. If Azure will be unable to find this service, it will create it automatically. Also, I need to provide an affinity group. I have my affinity group here. So affinity group name, and now I need to provide my virtual machine configuration. I have it right here, virtual machine configuration, and also VNet name, this one, VNet name. Okay, I'm done. So when you want to create a new virtual machine in Azure using PowerShell, you need to kind of separate, or not maybe separate, because you can put all this stuff like new Azure VM config, add provisioning config, set Azure subnet just by insert it inline here. But I do not like this approach. I like to create separate configuration and then call for create new Azure VM. Yes, so we provide this VM name here as a service name, but also we need to create a new Azure service. And for the service name, I will use this VM name just to make it simple. And affinity group, I will use this affinity group. Okay, now everything seems fine. Let's try to hit F5 and see what we will have. Okay, our new Azure service is created. It's a good sign. Okay, and our new Azure VM is also created. We have this warning: the specified DNS name is already taken. It's because we create a new Azure service and then provide the same service name here. And it's okay, you just have this warning because Microsoft says that you will add your new virtual VM inside already existing cloud service. So basically it's okay. Also, I want to show you another magic. Inside new Azure VM symlet, we have this wait for boot flag. Now, if we set wait for boot flag, we will wait until virtual machine will be created, and we will wait also until it will be completely ready for next use, because for now we have this succeeded operation status, but it's mean only that we call for new Azure VM REST API command, and Azure said, okay, I will take your command, I will process your request, and I will create this new virtual machine for you. Because as you can see, as you may know, this virtual machine creation process can take something like 5 minutes, and basically it's not always a good idea to wait for this 5 minutes inside your PowerShell script. Of course, if you want to create several virtual machines inside the same cloud service, then you of course need to wait, because you can't run several new virtual machine commands in parallel if they are triggered inside the same cloud service. So all operation inside cloud service or inside affinity group or inside virtual network should go in a very straightforward sequence. You can't do them in parallel. And for now, let's just create a new script, and let's put all this stuff together. So I will have config something like a section here, and I will put all my configuration here, and after this I will put my commands here. Okay, copy this one, storage calendar goes here. Oh. And virtual network goes here. Okay, let's submit affinity, we do not need it. And this one, storage, we do not need it, service name, and we'll copy it here. Okay, and now let's have another final look at our script. config and provision section here. So I have some configuration variable like location, it's my data center name, affinity group name, storage account name, virtual network configuration path, but it's only like for my local machine, so basically it can be located in some kind of temp folder. I have a virtual network name, subnet name, address prefix for virtual network, and address prefix for subnet. And also I have my virtual machine name. And during provision process, I call for new Azure Affinity Group to create my new Affinity Group. After this, I will call for new Azure Storage account to create my new storage account in the same affinity group. I will use it for put all my HDD drives inside the storage account later. Then I write really a lot just to create a virtual network, but for now it's kind of only way how you can use it. So I download locally virtual network configuration file from Azure. I add in an XML format my new desired virtual network configuration, and after this I upload this file again to Azure. And after I have my Affinity Group storage account and virtual network, I start creating my virtual machine configuration. So firstly, I called for get Azure VM images, and I said that I want only images for Ubuntu version 14 and long time support. Also, I said that I want to order those images by publisher date in descending order. In this way, the latest image will be on top. And I said that I want to take this first latest image, and I need only image name from this image description. After this, I created a URL for my system drive for new virtual machine. And after this, I create my virtual machine configuration, create a new service name within Affinity Group, and call for new Azure VM and create my new Azure VM inside this service. So I will show you some little bit more example. Let's say that here we have cloud service name and let's say that I want to create a script which will create not the single virtual machine but like two virtual machines with the same configuration. So the only thing I need to do is to set new Azure VM. I can just copy this command. I will set that this is my VM config 1, and I will have VM config 2, and as you can see, it's a really similar and really the same virtual machine configuration. I just have like virtual machine name 1 and virtual machine name 2 here. Also I need to create a new location for HDD. Yes, obviously. HDD location 1, HDD location 2. But using these small adjustments, I will be able to create, using the same script, like 2 new virtual machines, and in case I need more, like 4 or 5 and so on and so on, I can easily create it. I can easily put all necessary configuration here in my PowerShell script, and using this PowerShell I can easily run all my DevOps scenario. So it's really cool stuff, and I really highly recommend you to use it. Okay, we wait for some time and our virtual machine already should be created. So let's try to connect to this new virtual machine. First, I want to call forget Azure VM. I need to provide service name and VM name. I will take it from this script. We use this for service name and this for VM name. And also I want to call forget Azure endpoint. F5. Okay. So for our virtual machine Boyko Linux demo VM, we have only one endpoint. Local port is 22 and this is the public port. Let's open PuTTY, and host name I will have this one dot comma root app.net, and port is this one. I will save this configuration for later. Let's try to connect. Yes, I want to accept the certificate. I will use my login and I will use my password. Okay, cool. It seems like everything is okay. Now, yes, I will be unable to show you that IP address is the same as this IP address, because this is the public IP address of my cloud service and this is the private IP address inside my virtual network. But basically I will be able to connect to my Boyko Linux demo VM using my login and password, and as you can see, everything is working really great. And now I want to show you some other stuff. If you are not familiar with this command window, you can go to Modules Azure. You can see all your Azure commands here. And for example, if you will call for get Azure VM, these commands will be filtered, and if I click on get Azure VM and if I ask for help, I will see a really good help for this command. So basically, get Azure VM, which is information from one or more Microsoft Azure virtual machines. Here I have an example of syntax. I have like more detailed description, and I have detailed description of my input parameters like service name and name, which is the name of a virtual machine inside this cloud service. In case if you are not really sure which command you need, you can type something like storage and see that you have a really lot of commands for working with storage, like get Azure storage account, get Azure storage blob, and blah blah blah. So basically you can use the same help window for each command you have inside your Azure PowerShell servlets, and also it's kind of a good place to obtain like a first level of help. And the other stuff I also want to show, it's PowerShell Script Center. Let's open the browser and let's go to technet.microsoft.com/script center. So this is kind of simple URL, and if you go to this URL, you will go directly to Microsoft Script Center, and for example you can go to repository, and here you can see a lot of scripts for all Microsoft related stuff, but you can say that you want only Windows Azure scripts, and here you will be able to see only scripts for Windows Azure. For example, hello world for Azure automation, connect to Azure virtual machine, automate the creation of Azure VM pre-configured for max storage performance, and so on and so on. Start Windows Azure virtual machine on a schedule. So basically, as you may know, you are not the first person who work with Windows Azure, and if you have some like very common and very simple stuff and you need to create a PowerShell script for this task, you can easily go to the script center. You can try to find script which you want to use, and you can download the scripts from here, because as you may understand, if this stuff was already created, you do not need to reinvent the wheel by yourself again. You can just use the script from this community script center and community library. That was all I want to show you about Azure PowerShell, and thank you for watching.